And I will tell you one thing, working harder does not get you anything faster. Working harder does not get you anything faster. Working harder can give you a beautiful product. Working harder can give you an amazing work ethic. But if your mind is not right, if you are not aligned, if you are not ready, working harder is not going to get you that thing any faster. Watch out for burnout, you guys. Burnout is real. I'm stoked for about this video too. Yes, this video. Video killed the radio star? Yeah. To be talking to you, Belladonna. Should have taken a break, not an Oxford comma. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Dominique Davis, also known as Brown and Bindi, and here on this channel we focus on flexibility of the mind, body, and spirit. Guys, we are monetized, which means I am making money off of these videos. I've been waiting a really long time to even make $1 a week because I am grateful, and that means that I am putting something into the world, and you know, I'm able to see a physical manifestation of value, and that's something that's always been really important to me, but I just haven't known how to manifest it, and you know, your girl's on her way, so it's really exciting for me. We are monetized. Make sure you watch my ads. Make sure, you know, if you're feeling really comfortable, really cute, to watch my ads all the way through so that I can get a little bit of money. I am contemplating going up to more videos, doing more videos a week, but I don't know what you guys want to see. I do lots of stuff, but I don't know what you guys care about aside from the law of attraction, which I also just love talking about. So let's get into it. Today's video, dealing with burnout. And you know, this is such an apt video to talk about burnout. My first video that I'm filming being monetized, because on this YouTube journey, I have experienced burnout so much. As you guys know, last year around the week of my birthday, I made a promise to myself to make 2 videos a week, no matter what. I missed 1 week, but hey, next year will be a year. So 1 week out of a whole year, you know, I'm okay with that. So a lot of times I didn't want to film. A lot of times I didn't want to edit. A lot of times I didn't even want to plan videos because I wasn't seeing an immediate response. You know, law of attraction content, it's very internal, and I understand that you guys are listening to what I say and you're taking it in, but you might not comment and you might not like, because those values are kind of different from, you know, likes on social media and commenting on social media. So I'm starting to understand that my audience may be a little bit more introverted, and that's totally okay. But earlier in my journey, you know, I was like, I'm not getting a lot of response. I'm not getting a lot of feedback, and that would make me not want to create. And that's not okay. So let's talk about burnout, and let's talk about what it means, why we feel it, and how to get rid of it so that we can continue along our journey to get to the fruit. Right? Because that's why we do what we want to do. We do it, 1, because it makes us happy, and 2, because we are trying to evolve our lives in a specific direction. And if we stop, then we stop traveling in that direction. So we don't want to stop. Oh, what an intro. Okay, so when we are experiencing burnout, it usually means that we have been focusing on something, we have been prioritizing something in our lives. This doesn't only have to do with career. It can also have to do with a relationship. It can also have to do with like schoolwork. It can have, like, let's say that like your car is kind of crappy, so like every month you're getting your car fixed because you want a new car but you just can't afford it yet, so you're getting burnt out and tired of, you know, working on your car. You don't want to even deal with it anymore, even though you have a bigger goal. Burnout can happen in so many different situations, and at the beginning of the situation you've made a decision to do something. Burnout happens like a couple months, maybe years, it depends on your situation, but burnout happens a little bit after you've made that decision to commit to something. This video is not about growth and how sometimes when we commit to something, we have to decide to step away from that thing because we've grown out of that desire. That's a whole different subject. That's not what this video is about. I should make a video about that. I will make a video about that. But this video is more so about when you have decided that you want something for yourself, but where you are right now, you can't find any reason, you can't find any motivation to do it. That's what burnout is. That's what we're talking about. So burnout happens when there is an imbalance of gratitude and effort. Burnout happens when our mind becomes so preoccupied with what we are doing, where we can no longer see the good things that we already have, because we've become so hyper focused on trying to make something happen, trying to fit a square peg into a circular hole, if you will. The reason that this feels out of alignment is because our natural state is effortlessness and abundance. But when we're experiencing burnout, we feel like we are in a place of lack and we have no gratitude. So we are out of alignment. Entrepreneurs often feel this way because a lot of times we make our own money. When we don't make money, it's because of us. When we do make money, it's because of us. We make our own paychecks. We literally pay our own bills by putting value into the world. So a lot of times, if we're not in alignment, we can put so much effort in and see no value. And when that happens, that can just feel so soul crushing that we can start to focus on that lack of value instead of the gratitude we should have for doing what we love. We become so hyper focused on not getting the value that we want, when in reality we're not getting that value because we're not in alignment, because we're not in this place of gratitude. It's a whole circle, right? So burnout happens because we are avoiding flow. We can keep talking about entrepreneurship because, hey, that should just be the theme of the video, because that's what we're celebrating for me. I'm being an entrepreneur, right? So when you are an entrepreneur, it can be so easy to experience burnout because you just don't feel like you're getting energy back for all the energy that you're putting out. But what I've come to learn is that burnout is actually a sign that we've fallen out of flow. Burnout means that you are hyper-focused. You are hyper-focused on one goal, one priority, and how to get there. Hyper-focusing isn't always bad. It's one of the ways that I work, and it can, get me a lot of content at one time. It's really great. But hyper-focusing cannot be a way of life. That's not enough for our minds. We are not ever supposed to just be focusing on one thing. Just focusing on one thing puts us out of balance with our life experience. And then we are out of alignment. And that's what our body is trying to tell us. That's what your mind is trying to tell you when you feel burnout. When you know that you want something, when you know there is a goal that you want, but you wake up and you don't feel like it, you still want the goal, but you don't feel like doing it, you are experiencing burnout, especially if you are usually a very driven person, but you just can't find the drive today. You are experiencing burnout. So that means that your mind is not happy with the experience that it's having. Because you are hyper focusing on something, your brain wants to do something else. And that's the only way for our minds to develop. That's the only way that we as people can develop, by having an open and even experience on this planet, not just by focusing on one small thing, one small goal. Our brains are super duper complex. Super duper. So the more that we focus in on one small thing, the less satisfied our brain is. The longer we stayed focused on one small thing, the less satisfied our brain is. I've been hearing in a lot of podcasts lately people talking about their work days, their full work days, and how they will spend a certain amount of time working, and then they'll go take a walk, and then they'll come back and continue working. And that is so important. Even just the act of giving your mind a break between work, giving your mind a chance to experience something else between work, that can stop you from even getting daily burnout. But this video is about overall burnout, when you just want to quit. Because I've experienced it. And the thing is, quitting is not the answer. Again, I'm going to make another video about when a desire falls out of your vibration, because that's a whole nother subject. But if you still feel like you want the desire, you just can't find motivation to work on it, Quitting isn't the answer. If you're working a job and you're on your way to getting a promotion but you feel unappreciated, quitting is not the answer. If you are an entrepreneur like me and you have not seen the physical value yet, but your product is growing into something beautiful, quitting is not the answer. It's not the answer, homie. But I can tell you what is. The answer to curing burnout. The answer to curing burnout is to just occupy your mind with other things. I like to call this a priority shift, which means that if you have maybe 3 priorities in your life, whatever you're experiencing burnout on is your first priority, because that's what you've been focusing on, hyper focusing on, and like your mind's just tired of it. So I already know. So whatever is your first priority for a little while, maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe a year. It depends on your circumstances. But for a small amount of time, take that first priority and switch it with your second priority. So let's say your first priority is work and your second priority is your relationship. You're in a long-term relationship. Those 2 things are very important to you. But let's say you're experiencing burnout with work. For a week, just switch the priorities. Work is still a priority. Nobody is saying like stop what you're doing and just like abandon it. Nobody is saying that. But if you decide to switch your priority and then make your relationship your first priority and work your second, that will open your mind up to saying, okay, well, how can I go harder in my relationship right now? Like let me plan some dates this week. Let me get Boo some jewelry or a shirt or a video game. I don't know. I don't know what the kids are doing. But let me do something extra in my relationship. That's going to expand your brain because your brain probably hasn't been there for a little while, right? And while doing that, that's going to give your brain some vacay from over-analyzing your work situation. Because our brains need some time to relax. We really got to be better about giving our brains some time to just chill, right? So I personally feel like shifting priorities for a short amount of time is often the answer. And the beautiful thing about this is if your work is supposed to be your first priority, like if that's who you are and if that's what will get you to your manifestation, eventually it'll creep back in. It'll creep back in as your first priority. That whole week when your relationship is your first priority, you'll probably be fighting it, to be honest. But that's the point. You're making a conscious effort to change things around, to shake it on up so that you can get different results and no longer experience the burnout. But if your job is supposed to be your first priority, if that's your path, you're never going to lose the desire. And I think that's what a lot of us are afraid of when we experience burnout. We think if we take a break, we'll quit. And I think that's why we don't take a break. We just keep going harder and harder and harder. And that's not true. If you love something and if you know the value behind you doing that something, backing off for your mental health is not going to have any negative side effects. On the contrary, you'll see things from a different perspective and you'll be able to work towards your goal in a healthier, less biased way. Because when you work on something over and over and over again in the same way every day without ever having any breaks, your mind starts to tell you it's around the corner, it's coming, it's almost here because we've been working so hard. And I will tell you one thing, working harder does not get you anything faster. Working harder does not get you anything faster. Working harder can give you a beautiful product. Working harder can give you an amazing work ethic. But if your mind is not right, if you are not aligned, if you are not ready, working harder is not going to get you that thing any faster. Watch out for burnout, you guys. Burnout is real. Personally, what I like to do is I love music. I love creating music. So when I feel that YouTube is getting a little too into my head, like when I'm looking at my numbers too much and when I'm really trying to figure out how I can grow faster and if there's anything more I can do, even though I do quite a bit, when I get into that place, I shift my focus to music. I start writing songs. I start, thinking about if I wanted to make a whole project, what kind of songs I would have on that project, what would be the theme of that project. I really allow myself to get engulfed by music for a couple of days. And then when I'm ready to film again, I feel fresh. I feel brand new because I gave myself a break and I let myself miss YouTube. I let myself miss the very thing that I almost experienced burnout with. And it feels really, really good, and it's very sustainable. As long as I have music, I know I can do YouTube for the rest of my life. As long as I can always go write a song, go sing a song, go work on my voice, go develop myself in that way, I know that I can do YouTube forever, because I never feel exhausted by it anymore. I never feel angered by the energy exchange, you know, like I never feel like I've been done wrong. Victim mentality, that. I never feel victim mentality anymore. It's because I allow my brain to be open and even, which is important. The last thing I want to say is that in order for you to get to your goal, in order for you to be the type of person who is ready for your goal, you have to have a life experience. This is something that I see on social media that drives me crazy, okay? It's people who want something. So they say, hustle, 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 do this, eat, sleep, breathe, what you want in your life. And that might really work for some people. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but in order to be ready for what you want, you may need experience outside of your career path. For example, I know a big part of my YouTube journey is my social anxiety. I know that 100%. I know that personally, I'm not in a place where I can meet people outside of this camera. I'm not there yet. I have horrible social anxiety, and I'm working on it, and I've come very far. But the work I've done on my social anxiety has been completely separate from YouTube. But because I have developed myself in a way where I'm really starting to understand my personality within the world, how I fit, who I am, and allowing myself to be proud of who I am and who I want to be, that comes right into my YouTube journey, even though those are two separate areas of my mind. And the thing is, you're not going to know what you need to work on. You're not going to know what you need to work on separate from the thing you're focusing on. I wish that our brains could tell us, like, hey girl, you're doing this, but what would really help is if you did this in your free time. I wish our brains worked like that, but it doesn't. You have to just experience life, because life is going to bring up the things that you need to work on in order to make anything sustainable, because we have to be right first. So in order for us to get our mind right, we have to experience all sides of life, not just stay safe and focus on the one thing that we feel in control over. Because if we focus on that one thing, we'll feel burnout and then feel like we have nothing at all. And that's no fun. So get a hobby. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching this long ass video. I'm so happy we are monetized. I feel beautiful things coming. Thank you for all the congratulations and all the comments and all the things here and on Instagram. You guys are just life. You're just life. And you're making me a better person. And I love you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up so that other people on YouTube know that it is valuable. If you'd like me to expand on anything I've said in this video, just leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to. And last but not least, please make sure you're subscribed so you can be around for my next video. I love the shit out of you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for making my dreams come true. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.